Hi and good morning, Barbara. I'm very pleased to have you at the first podcast of our joint project, Breakthrough to Scale. I would like you to first invite you to share a little bit about yourself, what you are doing in Norway with your company, and then we will get into the subject of what are we actually doing together as companies.
Thank you, Raluca, for this nice introduction, and thank you one more time for inviting me for this wonderful opportunity. And yes, that's correct. We are partners on the project Breakthrough Scale, and we are very honored that you have invited us to be a partner with you, and we have had so far a very nice experience, and we are very happy to get to know you and to collaborate. It really has been a very nice and very professional experience, and we are grateful for that. My name is Barbara Salopek, and I'm CEO of Vinco Innovation, which is a partner in the project. I'm originally from Croatia, but I have been living now in Norway for 17 years because I always had a dream to live abroad. And so I went to study to Bergen, and then I liked it so much, got a job, and then I stayed. And 6-7 years ago, I started Vinco Innovation. It's my own company, and I'm 100% the owner. And we offer research and consulting, advising services within sustainable innovation. And we work globally all Europe, although we are situated in Bergen in Norway.
Thank you, Barbara. And once again, welcome to our talk. Concerning myself, my name is Raluca Cibu-Buzac. Indeed, we didn't meet each other face to face yet, but this will happen in the upcoming month. I am a founder and CEO of Luminspino. And my company is dealing with process consulting for innovation management. And our aim, of course, is to accompany both private and public organizations throughout this journey that is very complex, the journey of innovation and of change. Luminspino is a little bit younger than Vinco Innovation, so of course you have more knowledge and more consistent background to share with us. But nevertheless, we decided and we were positively assessed by EEA and Norway grants by Innovation Norway Romania. So we are starting this project already going for a few months. And well, I will just have a brief introduction into the project so that our listeners can understand. The project is called Breakthrough to Scale. And the aim of the project is to deliver a complex, advanced mentoring program for climate innovation. I would like to be clear about mentoring and about climate innovation in the context of this project, meaning that when we say mentoring, it is not about some more wise people telling to companies what to do. Because we respect a lot and we appreciate the most the experience of managers within the companies. And the aim of the mentoring is to go shoulder by shoulder with them and actually support them to achieve their innovation goals. And this means in a systematic way. So I would say that one keyword for this mentoring program is systematic approach for innovation. And then secondly, when we say climate innovation, of course, climate innovation is like a generic term, but nevertheless concerns any type of innovation, product, process that has an impact, a consistent impact on the mitigation of climate change and even reversibility of the effects that we are sensing today. So consequently, Barbara, we already had some preliminary discussions about how we are serving companies in these domains. But with our project, now we can go more into detail. We can go more in depth. I would like to ask you if there is anything that you would like to share more about the project idea besides what are already mentioned.
No, I don't have anything especially to add, but I would like to invite on the interested startups, small companies that they apply, take contact with Raluca, and we will try to help them the best we can in the way we have planned through the project.
We already had the first call for companies, and we got the first applications. Now we are evaluating them and onboarding the companies. And at the end of this podcast, I will announce the next application deadline, which is coming up soon. And it's very important to share about this. Okay, now, Barbara, coming back to the topic of innovation that has impact on mitigating climate change. This summer, there was an important milestone in Europe because Invest Europe, the European Association of Private Equity, published the ESG reporting guidelines. Okay, so this means environmental, social, and governance. So everything that means sustainability. So the reporting guidelines for investment funds and also for the companies in the portfolios of investment funds. Okay, so basically, Europe is pushing further and is trying to be more systematic, more precise into how to set climate targets within the company and how to measure them. Still, there is some sort of perception that we are not doing enough, that we don't have time enough. What's your pick on this? And tell us about Norway, how things are in Norway in terms of climate targets.
Yes, there's a very good context that you are telling about, Raluca. And yes, the Invest Europe has been publishing the guidelines and providing them for free to everyone, which means like they realized that everyone has to do an effort. That the collective is responsible. It's not one company. And I think that's a very good sign. Like, okay, here it is. It's for free from everyone. So no one has excuse. It costs something. And that's important milestone, as you said. When it comes to Norway, Norway has been doing a lot. And I talked recently with someone who said, I was in Bergen and I was shocked. And I was like, what do you mean shocked? It's so much good going on in Bergen. And I was like, well, I like how you said it because I live here and I take it for granted. So, and of course, Norway alone cannot do everything. If Norway alone is zero emission, still the climate, the gases, they're traveling. So it has to be. And I think in addition to that, EA and the Norway funds, they are very good because they are forcing also the collaboration on a Europe level to make common, that we together make an effort to change and to better change. So Norway has a target to be carbon neutral, but in 6 years, 2030. Like 23 is already gone now, so 6 years. And that's 5 years ahead of Finland, for example, and it's very ambitious. But they have been putting lots of investments into the energy transition. Like they have lots of hydropower that they want to build on. They are world leader in adopting electric vehicles. In 2021, it was the two-thirds of new passengers vehicles sold in Norway were electric. Last year, it was almost 90%. So, and also the ferries, also they have formally prohibited the use of fossil oil for heating in existing buildings and the new buildings altogether. Third of domestic ferries have been zero emission. So they are doing a lot, and it's really nice when you go on a ferry because compared to some other countries where I was this summer, when you enter the ferry and then you have all those smell. And here in Norway, when I'm waiting for the bus, when I'm going on the ferry, the air is nice. And it's such a nice feeling, which I have been taking for granted. So Norway is pushing this shift. Of course, they have resources, monetary resources, better than maybe some other countries in Europe. And it's good that they are using it in a good cause. So that's what good responsibility is actually.
Yeah, indeed, I noticed already when I was in Oslo last year that the quality of the air, it actually, you can perceive it. You don't have necessarily to look on a machine to tell you that the air is clean. You actually feel it. So basically Norway is at the forefront of sustainability. This is absolutely informative for our project because in Romania we have looked when starting the project we have looked to see how the data is collected and what the data show. On one hand there are many positive developments in Romania in complying with sustainability development goals of the United Nations, and we have good progress on those. But nevertheless, when you go more into the private consumption or into the micro analysis, like company level and such, there is still more awareness needed and more to push in this domain. Now, I would like to look at this climate targets topic also from the point of view of opportunity, not only a need to comply. Because yes, we need to comply, but this is more than that. Of course, we are all aware of the fact that needing to comply, it's actually for the own good of the planet and all life in the upcoming years. But besides compliance, there is also this opportunity. And I saw that recently you had a LinkedIn post that was very informative and well argumented about how sustainability is an opportunity for innovation within companies. So what's your main idea here? How do you see this topic?
Yes, that's a good question. Some expectations are imposed. We have to comply, but how it can it be actually advantage for the companies? And the research says that it shows that it can be advantage, and it brings more positive cash flows and profits. Like for example, take the construction industry. When you are going to renovate a building, there are lots of materials that can be used again. So instead of buying, you could use them, reuse them. So that means you're saving money, you're increasing your profits by decreasing the costs. So and when you go into your supply chain and think about like that, because so far we have always been thinking on the profits, but now the whole mentality is changing. It's not only profits, it's also what is sustainable. It's sustainable in another way, not monetary, or in environmentally and societal and governance model. And the governance is how do you get new ideas? How do you evaluate them? Societal, diversity? Diversity is part of the societal sustainability. How is the inclusion? If you have inclusion, then if so far have you been only delivering to one set of clients, one set of type of customers? But when you embrace, I like the Rexona commercial, when they make the roll-on for the disabled people. When you embrace the inclusion, suddenly the new world opens up for new customers that you even weren't aware of it. And if you don't have this representation at the table, if those customers don't have a voice at the table, you don't know about them, you don't know how to approach them, and you don't create profit of it. So yes, sustainability, not only monetary, but also both monetary, environmentally, and also societal and governance related, it will improve your business outcomes at the end.
Absolutely. So I totally agree. And this is when we look into our project about mentoring for companies doing climate innovation. It's like supporting the companies to discover all these untapped areas. These are like bags of potential innovation they haven't touched upon yet. And if they touch, then a new door opens, new products, new processes, new business models. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And in this sense, I would like to share with you and with the listeners of the podcast a little bit about the first round of applicants that we had for the mentoring project. So we had the 15th of September was the first deadline. And we were surprised to see that, well, not surprised in the sense that we didn't expect such interesting innovations to be there in the applications, but surprised to see that there are so many products, but mostly products, there were product innovation, but also process innovation, that targeted climate change. So first of all, and the applicants were not only from Romania. Of course, our main target group from the project is Romania, and we are focusing on that. But gradually, we are also onboarding interested companies from other countries if they appear as we promote the project. And I would like to say that what happens there is this two type of potential going on. You know, on one hand, when the company presented in the expressions of interest their innovative product, they already mentioned, okay, this product is more energy efficient. This product relies only on solar energy, for example, just to give an example. Or this product will decrease the consumption of water in case of emergency situations by X amount of liters, you know. So first of all, they have a clear vision about how the particular innovation is sustainable, okay? And then going into the clients, so their end beneficiaries of the innovation, then it started to be a little bit difficult because they had to measure the impact at the level of their clients. And that was a little bit different and more difficult. They were not able to specify precisely, but they knew more or less the type of impact that they want to seek. So again, like you said, the potential is manifold. First of all, at the company level, and then at the beneficiaries level. And then it multiplies. It multiplies.
Now I'm pleased to welcome to our podcast our second invitee, Mr. Marco van der Rie from the Netherlands. Marco is founding board member and interim executive director of the organization called Conexsus in Brazil. And as well, he is a manager of his own company, brokering Solidarity. I have met Marco many years ago, 15 years ago, in an international training on leadership and sustainable development. And today he is with us here to share about his experience in working with Conexsus in Brazil to support local communities to develop nature-based solutions and regenerative agriculture solutions within and around the Amazon.
Well, thank you, Raluca. It's great to have the opportunity to talk with you. And I think Europe and Brazil are all part of an interconnected world where we depend on each other. So if you want to achieve sustainability at the global level, we have to collaborate, particularly on the work what I'm engaged with in Brazil, which is Conexsus, the Institute for Sustainable Connections, as it's called in Brazil. And we work with community businesses, cooperatives and associations in the Amazon region, but also in other biomes in Brazil that produce products from the forest sustainably. So non-timber forest products, but also some family agriculture or reforestation programs that work with agroforestry systems in those different regions. And what we're really trying to look at with them is to see how we can make them viable businesses. But their products are produced at the local level, sold at the local level, at the national level. That's what we try to work with them, but also internationally. But also the products that actually are causing all the deforestation that those communities suffer so much from are being sold in Europe, like soy and beef from Brazil. So we see that we are in an interconnected world, and if we want to solve the problems, we have to connect them. What we do with Conexsus, we are an organization that was founded 5 years ago. We try to look at what are the systemic problems of those kind of community organizations in their production of those products, and why is it that they really cannot grow that much? What is hampering them? What is stopping them from really getting to becoming more sustainable businesses? We did a big analysis. We found more than 1,000 of those organizations in Brazil. There's probably many more, but this is already a huge amount. And they really had 3 big problems. The first one was they don't have the capacity and they don't know necessarily how to transform their community organization in whatever form it is into a business, into a viable business. So we decided to work with them on creating business skills, management skills, financial administration skills, supply chain management skills. How can you improve the quality of the production, the regularity of the production, and really help them to understand how to better manage their business, also from a governance perspective within. And the second problem we saw was that those organizations don't have access to financing and credit. They don't have collateral. Banks don't want to give them money. So what we decided is that we have to create, as an NGO, our own sort of microfinancing program, which by now has become a bit more than only microfinance. Help them through first with some grant funding to get started, but then starting with smaller credits, and in the end larger credits. So the biggest credit we've given to one single organization by now is 1.2 million reais, which is about 200,000 euros. So that's already a significant amount of money, and that can really help unlock the working capital problems that these larger cooperatives have. In the financing, as I said, the banks in Brazil don't have any interest in financing them directly. So we had to be very creative, using grant capital, philanthropic capital, impact investment capital. And what we did at the end of last year, at least my predecessor, the executive director, who has now become state secretary of the bioeconomy in the Ministry of the Environment in Brazil, which we are very pleased with, created a fund, which is called a CRA in Brazil, but I won't spare you the details. But it's basically a blended finance mechanism where we created a guarantee fund next to the fund, which will take care of the credits that won't work. And we created a blended finance mechanism out of philanthropic capital, impact investment capital. And then we actually were able to leverage that and get almost 2.5 times private capital into the fund at market rates. But because those smallholder farmers and extractivists, which means getting sustainable forest products out of the forest, they don't have access to the banking system. We can actually give them credits to a significantly lower rate that they would get on any sort of market. And the last point is we work with them on the products itself and how can we get them to the markets? Because in the end, if we don't sell the products on the market, we don't improve the livelihoods for the populations because they won't get an additional income. So we work with them on that, how to better sell at the local level, at the national level, even getting these kind of products through some of our partners now into large supermarket chains in Brazil. And we're also really trying to explore what is the opportunity of getting more of those products on international markets like in Europe. So I think that's we're coming back to your question in the beginning. That's how the linkages between Brazil and Europe come back with those products.
Indeed, and it looks like there is a complete cycle that you cover with all this model of Conexsus, and beginning with the design, with the creation, with creating business models, with creating new products until they arrive to the beneficiaries, so until the cycle is completed, so nothing is left to chance. Which is great. And which one do you think it's the most harsh reality that needs to be changed so that successful models on small scale, like you have this one with Conexsus, can scale further?
Yeah, I think that's the question, and I think we've really started to think about how can we scale our organization, because we grew from 2 people founding with a founding board around it, and I'm a board member from the beginning, to almost 70 people now in 5 years. So that's already pretty fast. But we still see that that's a limited amount of impact in Brazil, because the country is enormous and the demand is enormous. So we have not reached working with those thousands, let alone even beyond those. We have been able to work with almost 300 different organizations in one way or another, some more intense and others less. But if I look at the larger scale community businesses, I think we're about 30 or 40 maybe that we see now. So we need to really grow that. So if we want to have a viable bioeconomy in Brazil, and I'm maybe going to refine that in saying it's a social bioeconomy. So it's really looking as well as at the people within the forest. So it's working with the social biodiversity, the social diversity of the people that live in the forest in Brazil, which are the indigenous peoples, rubber tappers, riverine populations, quilombolas, which are communities of slaves that fled in the period of slavery and started their own communities. So the diversity of people is enormous in a natural environment, which also has an incredible biodiversity. So we really have to deal with both of that, and we try to work with it. So if we want to create this viable social bioeconomy in the Amazon and in other parts of Brazil, we need to grow tremendously. So scaling is really the option. So we can find more, we can grow. I think I can see more partners, both philanthropic and even capital on the market, interested in wanting to find this. The question is, how do we get more philanthropic funding to actually work at the base of all these organizations to start the first steps to create them into viable businesses? And that is hard. But on the other hand, what we also see is that if we keep on deforesting and we're going to keep on losing the forest, we're actually losing the assets that these populations have, because their products are within the forest. And last year we had about 13,000 square kilometers deforestation in Brazil. This year, thank God, with the new government in Brazil, we probably end up with like 6,000, maybe 7,000 square kilometers of deforestation, which is much less, but still an incredible amount of land and assets. And basically what those assets are, if we deforest, it's gone forever. Because reforestation is difficult, takes time, and is expensive. And what are we replacing it with? We're just putting what is being put in place: soy, cattle farming, to the benefit of few, and the assets that are to the benefit of many populations, and basically to the benefit of all of us, because these are ecosystem services that are being provided to the entire planet. We are throwing all of that away. So the real big problem is to how can we put a value on nature and understand that we have viable bioeconomy businesses that can actually provide value, but we also have to look at how do we value nature in itself in a different way. And when businesses destroy nature, they should pay the price for that, actually. And when we affect nature, we pollute nature, the price really has to be put on those ecosystem services. So if we want to improve the investments in a viable social bioeconomy, we actually also have to look at how can we decrease the investments in those activities that destroy the forest.
Thank you, Marco. Indeed, these are the fundamental changes that we are compelled to make today. So we wish you a lot of success with the work that you're doing with Conexsus in Brazil, and we are awaiting news about what new challenges you managed to solve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raluca.
I think it's inevitably to admit that everyone has to embrace sustainability in their actions. It will be here to stay. It will be the part of business model. So I think the sooner we start adapting it, the easier it will become. The more experience we have it, the sooner the results will come, and then all the targets will be met. So we should just start implementing it without any excuses. That's my final remark.
Thank you, Barbara. Indeed, and after all, as climate innovation is also somehow in its beginnings, it's also an advantage of the newcomers, I suppose, because yes, some innovation has been done, but there is room for more radical innovation, for more impactful innovation. So to wrap it up, 15th of November will be the next deadline for companies that would like to benefit from the mentoring program, which is co-financed for the Romanian applicants from the EEA and Norway grants by Innovation Norway Romania. So it's subsidized, it's provided in subsidized mode. And we will be there with these companies until April next year. So the mentoring will be quite consistent, almost 6 months for each company, around 20-25 hours per company. We will be there with them to support them to transform these climate targets into business drivers very efficiently and directly. So Barbara, thank you for being here today, and I'm looking forward to the next steps of collaboration with you. Of course, having all the time in mind the impact for the companies that we can create. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Raluca, as well. And it was a pleasure, and it has been a pleasure working with you. And we are looking forward to next steps of the project and to learn about all those good ideas that are coming to you.